Welcome back. It is a new week of character creation, storytelling, and the way that I think we're naturally growing with this channel is to begin maybe making a mod per week. I know mod is that's a very all-encompassing term, right? Because we're talking about stat blocks and read or paraphrase the following. So I'm saying mod in the sense that we're creating a fundamental story that people can take and run their own story with, or they can think of it in a novelization idea. We're writing, we're creating content of some kind. We're inserting characters as a medium or as a storytelling method. And if you've noticed the weekly schedule on the front page of the channel, you'll see what I have planned for the week. And if this plan goes smoothly, we will every week make a module, right? We'll have a map, we'll have some sample characters so that we're continuously going over character creation, thinking of different backstories and different ways to even take, let's say we randomly generate a character who is similar to one that we've made before. Because look, at some point in time it's going to happen. Though what makes him or her different than the prior incarnation? Is it one fundamental thing that's a stat, or is it something that is a fundamental piece of fluff or backstory? So we're going to explore all that and take everything week by week, and maybe over the course of the coming months, or hey, if you all continue stopping by and being wonderful and chatty, and you're contributing to the characters and the story, I mean, we'll have so much more to go on, and I'm very appreciative of that. In fact, I made sure that at the on Sunday and Monday, when I'm taking my break from Twitch to play in a heads up tabletop game, I've mentioned some of the fun things that you all have helped to create, and it really means a lot to me. And the guys that I play with enjoy hearing the stories that you have, as well as me taking the stories that I've experienced and sharing them with you as they come up. All right, well, you know what? I suppose it is about time to get characters number 1 and 2 done for tonight, because every week I want to generate a party of 5 characters. We'll roll them randomly, we'll see what we have, and we'll make it work to show that maybe, I don't know, let's say all 5 are barbarians. It's probably not going to happen, but it could. You can have a viable party of all barbarians. You'd have to play a little differently, but we could certainly discuss that. All right, so here we have the handy dandy dice roll summary of how we're going to generate a character from mere dice rolls. And then through the power of our imagination, we're going to apply a backstory and make that character come to life over the course of the next hour or so. First up, we need to determine the gender of the character and is the character multi-classed or not. On a percentile die, that's going to be a 1 to 45 is female, 46 to 90 is male, 91 to 100 is going to indicate it's a multi-class character, and then we're going to repeat the process to find out if it's male or female, or hey, maybe we get a dual multi-class character, because it can happen. Here we are. This is our on-screen dice roller. If you want to, you could use normal ones. We've gone over those before. In fact, while I put away some of them, I still have a couple of the more exotic dice here, like the 2, like the wrought iron from an actual, like from a blacksmith, D6s, things along those lines. You always keep dice handy just in case. All right, so here's our percentile. Bada boom. 42. Okay, that is just shy of male, so we have a female something or another. Oh, pardon. If you recall, this is just me getting warmed up. They're warm-up yawns. It's not you. I'm not tired. Bear with me. It's my body being like, come on, breathe, man. You're so excited. You're talking so much. Race is a D10, reroll 10. 1. Okay. Ooh, what is that going to be? Oh, here we go. Dwarf, and we're going to roll again to see which subtype, odds or evens. Odds. This is going to be a hill dwarf. Okay. alignment is going to be 2 percentiles for each of the axes of alignment. Remember, you have good, neutral, evil, and then lawful, neutral, chaotic. Change this to a 2, hit roll. We're looking at a 4294. That's going to put us in good. There's the 42. Here's the 94 is going to be chaotic good. A chaotic good what? The level is going to be 1 percentile. Changing this back to a 1. Hitting roll. A 66. Coming down here, or in this section, a 66 is going to put us at level 11. We're going to roll another percentile and determine if this character uses feats or is going for straight ability score improvements or ASIs. Pardon me. 26. This is going to be just straight stat bumps for this character. Now, we're going to roll a big old D12 and determine which class she's going to be. 1D12, here we go, hit roll. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. A ranger. We have not yet made a ranger in all of the broadcasts. Now, with a ranger, you can see that we need to roll 1d4 for the fighting style, and then a d8 to determine which kind of natural explorer she is, and then a d2, or a coin flip, to determine which archetype ranger we're constructing. First things first, 1d4. 1. Pardon me. Here we are. Archery. Okay, so this is kind of a bread and butter archery ranger. Let's put that down here. Style is archery. D8 to determine which kind of environment this ranger is used to. A 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A forest. Okay, that's... here we go. And then we will just roll odds and evens on a d4 to determine which archetype. 3 odds. So a hunter. Whoops. There we go. So far, so good. By now, this is, this is warm up. This is getting the creative juices flowing. If you've been here for a while, you've seen this before, and it's becoming methodical. It's hopefully now we're able to not so much concentrate on the minutia of the numbers being the numbers. Pardon me, but the numbers unlocking ideas. At this point in time, if we paused, are you conceptualizing, at home, whether you're watching this live here tonight on Twitch, or if you're watching this again on YouTube, because these videos do get posted up, is a character starting to form in your mind? Are we pulling this silhouette, at least, this silhouette out of the, ethereal mists of nothingness and manifesting her right in front of us? Sometimes I wish I could draw. I can story tell, but I'm not so good at drawing. Otherwise, maybe I'd have like a little Wacom, a little prompt or something over here, and I'd be sketching alongside us, rolling. I don't know if any of you artists out there, maybe we can do like a simulcast character creation. And as we're filling her out, pardon me, I'm sorry, this comes across as so rude, but it's just, I don't know why, my body is just, it's forcing this to happen. Anyway, we could do like a dual stream, right? If you can sketch alongside, and then we'll tell a story and generate the character little bit by little bit. All right. Only a couple more things left. You see that we've already gone through all of these steps, and we have completed most of the fine details. Oh, hey, Sayo. Evening to you. Thank you for coming by again. There's a couple things left now. These are going to insert. We've made her mostly physically. Now we need mentality. We need her core essence to be dropped in. I'm buffering like crazy right now. Gonna try and reload. Yeah, you know, I've even on my end, I'm seeing a little notification that every so often I'm getting some drop frames. Now I'm in where I'm at right now. There's some competition for the internet in the household, so some of that might be there. Fortunately, you know what? I'm not doing any sort of 120 FPS 4K first person shooter kind of a thing. So if you're buffering, hey, reset and you'll come back, and maybe the PDF would have changed by a line. Steel Dust 2? I don't know. Maybe it's something. Maybe we're having a weird thing through Twitch, or any of that sort of thing happens. I thought for some reason I got like a computer virus or whatnot on the day that Dr. Disrespect, if you're familiar with him, came back and kind of like crashed Twitch. And here I'm reloading. I'm like, what? Did I lose my page? Is something going on? What? Some other things are working on my computer, but what's happening with Twitch? And I'm freaking out here. And it happens. Okay, her background is a 13. On the dice roller, we're going to come down here and indicate that this is going to be a 13-sided die and hit roll. She's going to get background 13, which is Urchin. Bum-ba-dum. Now, urchins don't have any kind of a special, which kind of urchin is she? Which is what it's this other column. Though we are going to roll twice for her personality traits, and then the standard ideals, bonds, and flaws. And Rytel's, okay. Yeah, it could just be Twitch then. Back to the dice roller. 1d8, we're going to hit roll, and we're going to get a 7, and I could have just changed it to 2d8. 7 and 1. Now, for the ideals, etc., we're going to be smart and hit a 3 here to roll 3d6 simultaneously. 6, 1, and 3. Now, remember, these are just placeholders because we're going to go to the player's handbook and then start filling in details, talking through things, and then we're going to be able to equip her, give her some skills, and we'll go from there. Whoops. 6, 1, and 3. A little bit more for the character build before we hit the Pahubba. Pardon. All right, come back to the percentile. Well, that's for her age. Here we go. Here's our Hill Dwarf stat line. This is what she is. She's going to start at 3'8", and then we're going to add 2d4 inches to her height. Come and change that to a 2d4. Hit roll. We're going to add 6 inches to her height. All right, so she's 4 of that is going to put her, so she's going to be 4'2". Hi, Rhodey. Well, thank you for the title. Yes. All right, 4'2". She's going to start at 115 pounds, and then we're going to add to that 6, which we just rolled, times 2d6. Change that to a 2d6, hit roll, times 3. So we're adding 18 pounds. So that's going to be 133. And remember, this isn't counting arms and armor and trinkets and all this other stuff. This is, she wakes up in her nightshirt or not, I don't know. You could have a very natural dwarf. In fact, we have a ranger, a forest ranger. Maybe she's very natural. And this is what you get here. Now we're going to roll a percentile and see at which phase in life is she. If you're creating a character at home, this is not really necessary because you're going to choose a lot of this anyway. I do this as a way to showcase, what if you run a younger character? What if you run an old character? Or somewhere in between? It adds to the personality. It gives us scope and thinking. Is she a brash youth? Is she, what is she? based on where she is in life. So first things first is going to be a percentile for this. 51, coming down here to the... Now, this is my personal distribution table. A 51 is going to put her into adulthood. Now, young adulthood for a dwarf starts at 50. This is when, culturally, as the PHB puts it, they are considered much like in modern times. I mean, it was younger for humans, you know, back in Get Ye Flask times, but in today's times, you're an adult at 18, right? Well, in this time period in this world, a dwarf is considered an adult at 50. Now, they can live to be 350 years old. So we're going to need a little bit of wiggle room from here. So if we go, let's say, child prodigy would be a little bit before that. So 50, so let's say that's to 150, 250, a little bit younger than that. So probably more like 1, 2, about increments of 75 years. So if we're going to bring her to the cusp of adulthood, we're going to say that's going to be at about 125, and then we're going to start at 125. We're just feeling this out. There's really no hard and fast rules for this. 125, and we're going to roll a D50. Actually, why don't we just do... No, a 50 should work. And we're going to add 50 years to that base for an adult, right? In the human comparison here, we have a young adulthood is 16 to 25, and then you're really an adult as a human at this point in time. You're not just legally an adult, you're making, presumably, right, more mature decisions, you're doing more adult things, you know, settling down, having a family and career, things like that. So 125 plus a D50, bada boom, 42. So she's 162 years old. And that will finish out all of the randomness for her character. We have a very good start of, you know, where she's at. And now we're going to be able to go in and start filling in some of the details. I noticed that I'm getting a couple drop frames too, and I don't know. Maybe it's on both ends. It could be through the medium of Twitch, or something on my end is just being kind of derpy as well. I'm not sure what it could be here. If it's really becoming annoying or a problem on your end, please let me know, because I see myself talking and I'm always seeing myself live with my little heads up display. But if it's sounding to you, have you seen Wayne's World? Towards the beginning, when they're going through the donut ordering place, and they had the sign saying, if we don't get your order right, you get it for free. And Garth comes up and goes, I want to, and to J, and then the person reads back the order exactly what it is, and, you know, mind blown. If you're getting that kind of weird stutter, let me know, and I don't know, maybe I need to do a restart or something on my end in order to try and, I don't know, free up memory, or something might be derpy somewhere. Okay, well, Rhodey, Rye, Steel, just let me know if it is getting to like a really bad point. I want to be able to give you a good broadcast, and I'll restart or do something that might, you know, as necessary. If nothing else, we can get through this character, and I can even do like a quick like back and forth during the break, because we're creating her at a very good pace. It's like we've done this before. Okay, away with you, character random roll guide. Here we go. Starting at chapter 4, because remember, backgrounds give us proficiencies and skills, and this is going to help flesh out personality, and we're doing that first before we're getting into the stats, because we're creating a story character. You might do it differently if you're doing this for an actual tabletop, or if you just want a roleplay challenge. You go with the things that you can't control first, and then you work with what you can. All the way at the end, these are alphabetical. Soldier, here we go. Urchin. You grew up on the streets alone, orphaned, and poor. You had no one to watch over you or to provide for you, so you learned to provide for yourself. You fought fiercely over food and kept a constant watch out for other desperate souls who might steal from you. You slept on rooftops and in alleyways, exposed to the elements, and endured sickness without the advantage of medicine or a place to recuperate. You've survived despite all odds, and did so through cunning, strength, speed, or some combination of each. You begin your adventuring career with enough money to live modestly but securely for at least 10 days. How did you come by that money? What allowed you to break free of your desperate circumstances and embark on a better life? All things to consider. I'm dropping frames pretty hard. Okay, I'll tell you what. Everyone, and I'll type this out too. Everyone, hang on. I'm going to try resetting something, or I think there's something that I can close that's going on in the background that could be causing dropped frames. Let me emphasize here. Going to close or do a quick restart. I'll BRB, so hang in there. Okay, yeah, it does seem to be a problem. Okay, stay with the channel. I'm not going anywhere tonight. For quality purposes, I'm gonna get this resolved, okay? And I'm back. Okay. Oh, goodness. I hope that this is going to be a little bit better. I don't know what could have been, I don't know, causing the drop frames. Hey, things happen, and I appreciate you being patient and sticking around in the chat for that. All right, back to it. We were just getting into the good parts about our female hill dwarf ranger, who's a hunter, grew up as an urchin. I was going over what an urchin is, and let's see, all the way at the bottom here. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm back. Okay. Okay. So, she had a hard childhood. Does she have a hard childhood now? I don't know. She's developed skills, and she's been in the forest. So she's probably not really an urchin now, but she hasn't forgotten that part of her past. And we're going to use this to give her a little bit of flavor. Oh, goodness. I hope does everything sound okay for you, by the way? Is the music at a good volume? Mic is good, too. I want to make sure that nothing might have blooped or bleeped while I was resetting. Skill proficiencies. We're going to get sleight of hand and stealth. Tool proficiencies, we're going to come down and get a These Guys kit, as well as Thieves Tools. And we're going to get a little bit of starting equipment too. Small knife. That would be like a pen knife, not like a D4 dagger. A map of the city. Okay, so we'll put city map. This is something that we can consider, and you know what? This is going to come in handy, because tomorrow we're going to warm up with a random character generation, and then we are going to develop a map of some kind. And this map can, now that we have these characters, might be incorporating the map of the city that she grew up in before, you know, fleeing or finding her new life out in the woods as a ranger. Rhodey says that I'm still I'm not downloading anything in the background, Rhodey. All the way at the bottom here. Let me check something here. No, I mean, only 37% of my memory is being taken up, and the majority of that is being done by, OBS itself. Chrome isn't using up too much. Yeah. I don't know. That's really weird. It could just be, honestly, it could just be. Again, I have some competition for the internet in the house right now, so the other person could be downloading something for his computer or something along those lines. So just bear with me a little bit through this. I'm sorry that I'm dropping frames a ton here. So we have a pet mouse, or you know what? We'll put in brackets mouse, because what if it's not a mouse? What if we want to give her something else? It's not quite a wizard's familiar, but you know, it'll be a companion animal of some kind. A token to remember your parents by. We'll just put personal token. This is something we're going to want to come up with and go back and fill in. So we'll put that in brackets as well as a placeholder. Common clothes. Belt pouch. And 10 gapuz. There we go. Rody, did you hear another stream running in the background? It might have been when I reset. It was my own channel looping back on itself, but I closed that out. So hopefully there's not going to be any other big spikes, but we're going to have to ride it out. So as I type this, so bear with me as the internet is being a bit derpy. Feature City Secrets. You know the secret patterns and flow to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. When you're not in combat, you and companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. You know, this is really good for a ranger because you can be an urban ranger. And in this case, oh, hi Perugia. In this case, not only do we have an urban ranger because of her urchin upbringing, but she's going to get these benefits. She's going to get these benefits for being a forest ranger as well. Let me see something here. 1 second. Sometimes a simple text message might be able to identify a problem. Okay, we'll see what that produces here. Sir Rody says you think you hear someone in the background. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is my only window that's open. You're hearing tabletop audio playing in the background. That's just some simple music that's going. But you shouldn't be hearing anyone else. I'm talking to the mic that's right over here. Okay, let's continue on. So we have an urban and a forest ranger, all in one. Suggested characteristics. Okay, we have our 2 personality traits. Personality traits number 1 is 7. I don't like to bathe. Well, you know what? She spends a lot of time in the woods, and okay, that you want to smell natural. 1. I hide scraps of food and trinkets away in my pockets. Okay. So she grew up with some hard survival techniques in the city, and that still continues even out into the woods. And you know what? While she's a forest ranger, maybe this isn't exactly the most fertile ground. It could just be scrub brush, or you know, just some what's the I think it's Ponderosa, and I'm not talking about the restaurant chain, but it's sort of like pines out in the like in the west. Soroti saying, are you running your own stream? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Rody. And Perugia, yeah, it's skipping. I don't know what's going on then with the internet, because I don't have anything on download. And I got my reply back saying that it's just a Discord and a WoW. There's nothing I'm uploading and nothing downloading, so I don't know, it's being a little weird. Yeah, here, let's take a little peek. Yeah, see, this is all I have running right now. Just the kind of the bare bones for what I need here to broadcast to you all. So I'm sorry that it's being kind of derpy for you. Okay. So she's still in this survival kind of fight or flight. She may not even be finding plenty out in the woods. Not every forest is a verdant, bountiful, you know, wonderland of fairies and deer and rabbits and everything. Well, hopefully it is getting better. Alright, ideals was 6. Aspiration. I'm going to prove that I'm worthy of a better life. Bonds, 1. My town or city is my home, and I'll fight to defend it. Okay. So she doesn't want to be in the city necessarily. She's wanting to be outside of it, but she hasn't quite let it go. So she's still hanging around the area. I think we're getting this is why I want to start with 2 random character creations at the start of the week, because we're using them to help define the world around us, and this could lead to what we're going to do for tomorrow's map creation. And her flaw is 3. I will never fully trust anyone other than myself. Alright, so a bit of a loner. It's not that she can't get along with other people, but she knows her skills. She knows how to survive. She knows how much water and food that she needs, and she will take care of herself. Others, if she can, or if they're useful in some way, but she had a very hard childhood, and this has left her mistrusting of others and needing to make sure that she's caring for herself before anyone else. Okay. Now we're going to pop back up. Race. Here we have dwarves. She's going to get a few features and some ability score increases. All dwarves are going to increase their con by 2. We already have age, alignment, that's taken care of. Her speed is 25 feet. You know, she's a shorty. Her race is going to give her dark vision out to 60 feet. Dark vision is, think like night vision goggles, but instead of everything being green, it's just, it's grayscale, it's monochromatic, that kind of a thing. Then we're also getting Dwarven Resilience. You have advantage on saving throws against poison, and you have resistance against poison damage. You know, growing up in the streets, having to eat garbage, or even having to forage out in sort of a scrub forest, well, you might be able to eat the poison berries that not a lot of other people like. You know, they might make you kind of sick, but they won't kill you, and any port in a storm, right? So, her having to eat these things is just, I don't know, her dwarven nature is helping out with that. We don't really need to type that portion out. Her dwarven combat training is now, if you're making a character at home, and we could even argue for this storytelling character, would she have gotten this dwarven combat training as an urchin? Maybe not. Instead, you could talk to your DM and say, well, given what she's grown up with, could I swap out, for example, she has proficiency with a battle axe, hand axe, throwing hammer, and warhammer. Well, instead, what if it went towards something else? Or if she was abandoned by her parents or orphaned in some way, maybe she did receive the training when she was younger and she no longer had parents to help bring her up, though she wasn't a legal adult yet to be able to do these things on her own. So, asterisk, side point, talk to your DM in these instances to go with something that is thematic for the character that you're trying to make. For purposes of what we're doing, I don't know, we can say that she got really good with axes while she was out in the forest. And as for hammers, well, she's I don't know, maybe she's building things on her own. Like she built her own little hovel, right? She wants self-sufficiency, and so the warhammer is an extension of her wielding a regular hammer. Battle axe, hand axe, throwing hammer, and warhammer. Tool proficiency. You gain proficiency with the artisan's tools of your choice. Smiths, brewers, or masons. Now, we just talked about her using carpentry as a way to learn this, to help fit in her Urchin background. Again, talk to your DM about this. If none of those tools fit your character concept, this is just a starting point, right? You have a dwarf growing up in a dwarven environment under normal circumstances. This would seem to work. These are unique circumstances, so replace it with something else. In this case, why don't we say that she's good with carpenter's tools? She does also get stone cunning. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill and add double your proficiency bonus to the check, instead of your normal proficiency bonus. Stone cunning is, I don't know, very classically it's been, is this of dwarven make? Does this look old? Who might have built this? Is this elvish masonry? Is this human? Are we looking at, maybe it's fresh stone with some, you might be able to maybe pierce illusion? That's kind of getting into talk to your DM territory. But this is just growing up. She's gotten so used to, or through her histories of living in this, you know, among people who mine and do all this. She has a feel for it. Now, if you wanted, I could even suggest, and we're making lots of side suggestions, instead of stone cunning, you might be able to give her something. Stones would still be appropriate in an urban environment, right? You have a big, you have stone public buildings or private ones, or, you know, if this is a big enough city to have sewers, because a little podunk village isn't going to have a sewer system with slimes living in it. If it does, then it must be like our first map that we made, right? Because it was built atop aqueducts, and it was built atop some ruins. Hang on 1 second here. Is the dropped frame situation any better? I'm asking in chat just to be redundant in case maybe there is a drop frame issue and you're not getting these words. Okay, so if you wanted to replace stone cunning with something that was thematic, I'd allow it as a DM. In fact, maybe you wanted to say she's good at identifying, I don't know, woodwork instead, if she's going for the carpenter route. That's going to be up to you and your DM. For now, we'll say it's stone cunning, and she grew up in a city that had a lot of masonry involved, and maybe even a dwarven city. Rhodey says it seems like it's slowly getting better. Well, here's hoping, right? Crossed fingers. It's interesting why we do this, by the way, as a sign of hopefulness and good luck. If any of you know, you're welcome to discuss it in chat. Otherwise, I can talk about that. Languages. Common. Dwarven. She was a hill dwarf, which means we're going to increase her wisdom score by 1, which is going to be handy for a ranger. And she's going to get dwarven toughness, which means your hit point maximum increases by 1, and it increases by 1 every time you gain a level. So for her hit point maximum, we're going to be starting out at 11, because that was her level. So this is her toughness, right? Plus And then we'll get to that, but we're putting this note in because racially she has more hit points than someone not of a Hill Dwarf origin. Classes, we're going to come down to, pardon the fast scrolling, hopefully that's not causing any sort of blink problems. If this ever does for some reason, let me know, and I'll try and find a way to, I don't know, I could try going slower, or I can make a conscious effort to say, hey, heads up guys, this is going to blink as I'm scrolling quickly. But it does tend to go white sometimes as it scrolls by. Rangers. Here we go. Alright, some more things open up to us. First things first, it's a D10 per ranger level. So it's going to be, at first level, it's going to be 10, because you always get the full hit die at first level. Plus con mod. So we're going to put con. And then plus 10 times half plus 1 is 6. So that's going to be 60. Plus con times 10, which is the 10 levels of con mod she's getting also. Hopefully that makes sense to you all in calculating out the hit points. Okay, so Rhodey says, I just addressed my comment about someone in the background, and I said that 10 minutes ago. As of right now, I am addressing live. I'm reading comments, and I'm gonna say try refreshing the browser to see if it catches up. I am addressing what I see in chat the moment I see it. We should only be at the standard 10-second delay. Okay. Hopefully that goes through. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm dropping so many frames. Let's see if for some reason, I don't know, ending the music. I like having the background music, but if for whatever reason this is causing a conflict, then I don't know. Okay, so in comment to be simultaneous here, I am... Well, let me know if refreshing works. Okay, we'll continue. Why do these things happen? I just want to deliver a good product to you all. Yeah, that was a while ago, Rhodey. This is really weird. Sorry that this internet situation is being kind of blah. I want to deliver a good product to you all. So I guess something's, I don't know, something's eating up bandwidth. If I go by the, you know, what I'm seeing here as the other response is that there should be no major downloads or uploads going on right now. That's weird. Oh my goodness. All right, let's continue on. If nothing else, this is recording, and I will put this up on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, thank you. Tonight's technical difficulties might make an after, like a after watched, as opposed to an overwatched. An after watched episode kind of weird, but hopefully it's recording at a constant rate, even if I'm dropping frames by broadcasting. Is anyone else this far behind as Rhodey indicated? Thanks to you all for your patience through this. Perugia says a wizard or sorcerer is slow over and over. It's like every time that comment was weeks ago. Haha, it's like every time it skips, you get farther away from us. No! Time warp. All right, so we have her hit points filled in with a little bit of algebra to go back and fill in once we get her con mod set up. Proficiencies, armor, light and medium, and shields. Skills, we're going to get to choose 3 from animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, and survival. Well, she already has stealth from being an urchin. I think that for her background, survival is going to be important, right? If she's kind of hoarding food and she scrapes by for as much food as possible. So survival is going to be one, and having a high wisdom is going to be important for her as well. Perception, definitely. Given her ability to travel, to hunt, to do all this, it's going to be important for her to find her way around. And then nature, she's probably not worried about that. I don't think she's going to be the most intelligent person. I don't know if we're going to make it her dump stat yet, but if she's gotten by eating things that seem okay and relying on her dwarven resilience, then she's not going to necessarily care about which berries she's eating. It's not going to be important for her, and but yet a human ranger might take that instead because he can't rely on that poison resistance. So instead, maybe something like insight could be important. As an urchin, right? If you need to know if people are lying to you, if people are looking down on you, or if you have these issues with people, then having a higher insight, will be able to help you cut through the oh, bless your heart. Well, you say bless your heart, but do you mean it? Probably not. This is a live vodcast. I guess you could say that, right? All right, so there's our 3 skills. Jeez. She's going to get to start with some stuff too. Scale mail or leather armor. We're going to go leathers. If nothing else, we're keeping this thematic. Maybe you choose scale, even for an archer, because you want a higher AC. In this case, we're going to give her dex anyway, and it might be more thematic if this is kind of some patchwork leather armor. Mechanically, it's leather, but maybe it's kind of patched together like some rabbit hides or some other like local animals, and it's something that she's made herself. It may not look pretty, but it works. Leather armor, 2 short swords or 2 simple melee weapons. I think having a short sword is not going to be... we're going to just put 2 simple weapons, which is probably going to be a dagger and something else here. Pardon, probably a short bow is what that's going to be. Oh no, because she's going to be given a long bow. A Dungeoneer's pack, or we're going to give her the Explorer's pack. That has a lot of goodies for overland stuff. She's not necessarily a dungeon delver. And then her primary weapon up here is going to be a longbow and a quiver with 20 arrows. Okay. For her class, she's going to get a favored enemy. Beginning at first level, you have significant experience studying, tracking, hunting, and even talking to a certain type of enemy. Choose a type of favored enemy, and there's a list here. Alternatively, you can select 2 races of humanoids, such as gnolls and orcs, as favored enemies. You have advantage on wisdom survival checks to track your favorite enemies, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about them. When you gain this feature, you also learn one language of your choice that is spoken by your favorite enemies, if they speak one at all. You choose one additional favorite enemy as well as an associated language at 6th and 14th level. As you gain levels, your choices should reflect the types of monsters you've encountered on your adventures. So there's a little bit of pressure on you to make sure that you're keeping track of the things that you've encountered. In this case, we're gonna get to make it up some. So favorite enemy number 1, favorite enemy number 2. And then she's going to get favorite enemy language 1, favorite enemy language 2. There we go. And we'll think about this as we're creating her story. Rhodey says, don't worry, Maddie. The only thing that could draw me away from this chat is if Vera randomly came online. Yeah, I haven't seen her online much, Rhodey. I hope everything's okay. Perugia says, you may need to restart. It's getting your video, holding it behind a dam, and slowly feeding it back with 10-second pauses to move you forward. Okay. Well, you know, you're not seeing this at this point in time, but Perugia... Ooh. Perugia, I will... do that. So hang on, or hang out in chat for just a minute, and I'll try another restart. BRB, everyone. I'm going to try to purge the video queue. All right, well, hopefully the chat is a lot more live and you're not seeing me addressing this now 10 minutes after I've fought. Let's save these characters real quick. I'm going to switch back to the intro card real quick. I am recording this still, just because I put it all up on YouTube afterwards, so that might give you something smooth, especially after I edit the videos. I'll put them together. The other ones haven't really been doctored up too much. I honestly should put like an intro and an outro or something for the episodes, but I'll get there. I'm getting through some FFXIV. I don't even know why I said it in that elongated form, but I'm getting through some of those videos to clear off my hard drives first, and then maybe I can put in make a cool little intro and title for those episodes. 12:07, watching the clock, but there's no webcam yet. Okay. We'll work with what we have. We'll do our best. Hang in there. I'm typing in chat. We'll get through it. On break, I can call the ISP and determine if they are having an outage or something. So Josh Potatoes and others, yeah, just hang tight, please. I'm gonna get through it as I am. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. You guys know what's going on. I'm not trying to troll you, so let's just continue with the character, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, I don't have to cut this this too short tonight. I want to go and get 2 solid characters, and then we're world building again. You know, it's events like this that can also help you with your character. So maybe our Ranger Hunter here, as we flesh her out, has something like a stuttering problem when she speaks, or she just sort of spaces out every now and again, right? Okay. So let's continue. We're down here at classes. Scrolling down quickly, Cleric, we wanted to go to Ranger and fill her out. Here we go. We left off that she needs 2 favorite enemies and will receive 2 languages based on those. And those are something that you're just going to have to work out with your DM over the course of the campaign. We have her natural explorer. We chose forest. And so in reading what this is conferring, difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Even when you're engaged in another activity while traveling, you remain alert to danger. If you're traveling alone, you can move stealthily at normal pace. When you forage, you find twice as much food as you normally would. And while tracking other creatures, you also learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area. You may choose an additional favorite terrain type at 6th and 10th level. So actually, while she started out in the forest, and we can make the argument as an urchin that she is also urban, we can go back and... Whoop. We have the... Come here. Here we go. Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountains, swamp, or the Underdark. If he's on Comcast, Comcast is known for... No, I use... it's called Buckeye Express. I actually feel fortunate that we're using like a smaller regional company instead of one of the big national ones, because I have heard a lot of things about Comcast, and I kind of feel glad that I don't have to rely on a big one like that. I think it's Twitch's end, Maddie. People were telling me drop frames when I was raiding on Sunday. Well, I want to say hopefully it's on Twitch's end then. But I am seeing drop frames, but I don't know if that's because of my internet or if a drop frame is a connection between myself and Twitch, and so Twitch can actually be sending the detected drop frames. And I realize I'm narrating this to you, and you're not going to see this until I guess 10 minutes from now. Perugia says it may be Twitch. The recording is being picked up, if not skipping to keep up. It has your footage. Oh, I don't doubt that you are trolling. I just don't know if Twitch is having an issue, if it is causing the detected dropped frames on my end, or if it is my ISP, which is not Comcast. Oop, Comcoast. Okay, so because we have the luxury of looking back, this doesn't have urban as because this says natural explorer. It does talk about the Underdark. You can talk to your DM, and maybe she or he will say, yeah, you know what, if you want to be an urban ranger, you could do that. And we could even say, you know, maybe one of these is urban, that you get these benefits. Or if we didn't want to do that, and for our map making purposes, we can describe the region around here as well, because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's. I fear bringing up. Let's bring up the dice roller. Roll a d8 twice. 2 and a 6. This is going to help flesh out the world. Coast, 3, 4, 5, 6, and mountain. Nice pull on the deck of many things, Peru. All right, so the Natural Explorer that we can reference back because you get a plethora of cool stuff in these environments is right here. She gets a fighting style, and archery gets a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapon, which is huge. That's an extra 10% chance to hit, meaning that your damage per round is going to be statistically more more solid because you're going to be hitting 10% more often than someone else is. Now that means that we could be a little lazy on the dex if we want, and then still be normal. Because if it's giving us an intrinsic +2 on dex and we're using dex-based weapons, that's having a dex 14 but shooting at an 18, or that's we're super eagle-eyed and we have an 18 that's shooting as a 22. That's a decision you'll have to make as this ranger character about how you want to balance this out. And that could even be a good way if you say that you want an all-around ranger, you want a melee fighter and a dex-based one that can shoot too, then you can split between strength and dex, and you'll be good at both. You might not be a master at either, but you can swap between the two easily and not have to worry about a dump stat. Okay, but we already have her archery down. We'll make a note that is +2 to attack rolls. Rangers do get limited spell casting. They're not full casters, but they get some nice utility. We're going to look over here. At second level, yep, they're not exactly druids either, but they get some cool stuff. We will get to magic here in just a little bit. Let's finish filling out what we have at 11th level. Her proficiency bonus is a +4. So we're looking right here at Ranger Archetype feature. And this is going to give us our spells known and our slots. Class is going to give us a few other benefits looking at the chart here. We have Primeval Awareness. We're going to get an extra attack. Times 23, right? Talk about DPR. Primeval Awareness. Favorite enemy, Natural Explorer improvements. And we're going to get Lands Stride. Hide in plain sight. We're going to come back to spellcasting, Ranger Archetype. Let's see. Okay, we'll get there. Beginning at 3rd level, you can use your action to expend 1 ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you. It's kind of like a detection spell, which is really cool. Extra attack is nice. Land Stride. Beginning at 8th level, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or are a similar hazard. In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such as those by the Entangle spell. And then Hide in Plain Sight. Starting at 10th level, you can spend 1 minute creating camouflage for yourself. So think like a ghillie suit or something, or you just hold 2 branches up to your head. You must have access. Okay, so there's some conditions to it, but you can then, like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Predator when he covered himself in mud, that kind of a thing. Okay, here's our archetypes. As a hunter, Hunter's Prey. At 3rd level, you gain one of the following features of your choice: Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, or Horde Breaker. Your tenacity can wear down. So let's roll this randomly. right? We're leaving her completely to the whims of fate. This is a D3. Hit roll. This is going to be a 2. So this is going to be Giant Killer. When a large or larger creature within 5 feet of you hits or misses you with an attack, you can use your reaction to attack that creature immediately after its attack, provided that you can see the creature. So, I don't know, if something comes out and ambushes you, you can quickly turn around and strike. So that makes her very reactive, right? She's an urchin. Maybe she's like, no, keep your hands off me, and is good at... she's taking this as a defensive measure to keep people away from her so she can concentrate on herself and doing what she needs to do. Seventh level, Defensive Tactics. Defensive Tactics. You gain one of the following features of your choice. Escape the Horde, Multi-Attack Defense, or Steel Will. Let's come back over and build her. D3, hit roll. 2 again. Multi-Attack Defense. When a creature hits you with an attack, you gain a +4 bonus to AC against all subsequent attacks made by that creature for the rest of the turn. And finally, multi-attack at 11th level. You gain one of the following features of your choice. Volley or Whirlwind attack. This case, because I think it's... The others we can kind of work in. They may not necessarily be the most optimal if you're constructing a hunter. Though we can instead... I think we're going to choose Volley to give her something a little bit more. Because we're going to bring her in that direction instead of Whirlwind. Which is definitely better for a melee ranger. So we're going to hit Volley, which states you can use your action to make a ranged attack against any number of creatures within 10 feet of a point you can see within your weapon's range. You must have ammunition for each target as normal, and you make a separate attack roll for each target. So that's, you know, drawing a couple arrows at a time. You know, you're launching them in the air, and they come down, poo, 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 down. Oh. You okay, Sophie? One of the cats is huffing like she might have a hairball or something. Alright, well. Let's see. We aren't high enough yet for Superior Hunter's defense. So we're not going to worry about that. And, okay, the rest is Beastmaster. Now it's time to go through and start giving her some stats. If you remember, we determined that she is not going to be... taking any feats, so it's all going to be pure bumps to her abilities. We definitely want her dexterity high, especially because she doesn't have any natural tendency for it. Wisdom is going to be important for spell casting and for a lot of her... Dex and Wiz are her skills. So Wisdom should also be rather high. So let's put the 14 here. Intelligence isn't necessarily going to be important. I think we can end up making this... it doesn't mean that she's dumb. She just doesn't have a lot of book smarts about her, which is fine because she's still a completely functional character. Perugia says, sadly, it's just going to be a magic dagger, but magic swag is always loved. Yes, and you never know when it will come in handy. Okay. Now, where to put in these other... Her con is going to get a boost. And we also said that she is survivable. And she's taken it, like it shows that she's not afraid to be in the middle of things, even as an archer, right? Because while we randomly rolled her defensive tactics and her multi-attack defense, Oh, giant killer. Sorry, this actually should have been... There we go. So she's fine with, you know, being in the middle of everything. So having a higher constitution might be interesting, right? So we have a big, like, hit point ranger. We can say 13, 12, and average strength. Sayo says, anecdotally, I'd say it's Twitch. I'd say, hopefully, Sayo. But that doesn't give us much hope on either end of the webcam. Haha. Cool, that drops in. Now we're going to throw in our racial modifiers, bringing Constitution to a 15 and Wisdom to a 15. Let's get rid of these. I'm not going to calculate hit points yet because her Constitution is going to rise, and that's going to affect hit points at all levels. If you increase your Constitution score enough to increase your mod retroactively goes back through all of your old levels, and you'll get hit points for that as well. Now, she's just on the cusp of receiving her third ASI. She's going to get one at 4 and then one at 8. And she'll get another at 12, but she's not there yet. She needs to do something to earn that. I think her first, because we can do 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, is going to be to bring her Wisdom to 16 and her Con to 16. Her second should be to improve her Dexterity. Actually, we can keep her Wisdom at 15 and put her Dex up to 18. That might make a little bit more sense for what we're trying to do here. Okay. So, this is now locked in, and we can filter out, or we can produce her ability mods and go from there. By now, I've been putting pluses. I think I'm only going to put if there's a minus in a rare case. Otherwise, if it's a number, we know it's positive. It saves a little bit of time in typing, especially because we've had this fiasco going back and forth. So, this is going to be 0. This is going to be 4. This is going to be 3. This is going to be now a -1. This is going to be a 2, and this is going to be a 1. Coming down, strength and dex are her saving throws. There we go. So this is going to be a 4. This is going to be an 8. Constitution is a 3. Int is a -1. Wisdom is a 2, and Cha is a 1. Coming down, acrobatics, this is dex, so this is going to be a 4, and let's look for the other dex skills. That's going to be sleight of hand, which is going to be proficient, be an 8. Stealth is going to be an 8. Animal handling, which is wisdom or whiz, that's going to be a 2, and let's look at what else. 2 plus 4 is 6. Medicine is a 2. Perception is going to be a 6. And survival is going to be a 6. Arcana is going to be a -1. She's not the best at that. History, with the exception of the stone cunning, which she's wise about that for being a dwarf, or if you work something out with your DM to, instead of being stone cunning, something very appropriate for her. Investigation's a -1. Nature's a -1. And religion is a -1. Athletics, strength is 0. Charisma is 1. Intimidation, performance, persuasion. There we go. Now we're going to carry our 6 perception into passive, which is going to be 10 plus that, which is 16. All right. Initiative is dex, unless you take a feat or something. So +4, or to be consistent, we'll just say 4. Armor class, she's wearing leather armor, which we did sort of cosmetically say is the hides of, whatever she can kind of scrap up. That's going to be 11 plus dex, so she's going to have a 15. Regardless of her defense and all that other stuff. And besides some spells, we have a pretty solid character going on here. Let's take a look at those spells real quick, though. because we can fill this stuff in very quickly. She's pure ranger. Spellcasting is going to be off of we got our spell save DC here. She's going to use wisdom as a druid does. Wisdom spell save is 8 plus proficiency, which is 4, plus wisdom is 2, so 14. And spell attack bonus is going to be a 6. Because that's proficiency plus the bonus. Okay. Down here, spell slots. At 11th level, we fill in 433. There we go. Slots known. And the ranger table shows how many spell slots you have. But spells known, you know 2 first level spells of your choice from the ranger spell list. The spells known column of the ranger table shows when you learn more ranger spells of your choice. Each of these spells must be a level of which you have spell slots. For instance, when you reach 5th level in this class, you can learn 1 new spell of 1st or 2nd level. So this is not that you can wake up and get whatever you want, like a cleric. You're more like a wizard in this case. You know certain spells, and you unlock access to certain other spells. It's not you wake up in the morning and you take whatever you feel like you want. I'll accept your duel, Perugia. All right. Let's indicate here. So we have level 1 and level 1. And so this is going to indicate, you can see as we level up here, so we start at 2, we're going to be getting access to more as we level up. This is the level 5 example where it says you can learn 1 new spell of either 1st or 2nd, right? Because we just breached that that next one. I don't know why I keep scrolling so much. It's just one page, 1 click. Additionally, when you gain a level in this class, you can choose one of the ranger spells you know and replace it with another spell from the ranger spell list. Which also must be. So you can swap them out, but you only kind of have a limited scope of what you do end up knowing. So level 1 is going to be those. And then we have level 2 is at 5 here. And we can choose between a 1st and a 2nd. We should probably learn a 2nd level. And then at 9th, we're going to end up getting a 3rd. Though for some reason, and this could just be me derping out, I thought you got a little bit more than just that. I might be misreading something. The spells known column of the ranger, yeah, you learn more of your choice. Each of these spells must be of a level for which you have spell slots. For example, when you reach 5th level in this class, you can learn 1 new spell of 1st or 2nd level. Additionally, when you gain a level in this class, you can replace it. Okay, well, unless I'm being a derp about something in chat, you can call me out on this. This is what we're looking at here. And then we can replace these as we wish between levels. I mean, ultimately, we're going to give her what she has. But you only have a couple spells to work with. I'll keep it. Gives a respectable nod to the dagger before pocketing it. Sir Rhodey says, wow, that was a 20-minute delay right there. Yeah, sorry about that. I just finished going over spellcasting as almost the last part. So I'm going to switch into the short break screen and do just that. So yes, I'm going to take a short break, hopefully work this issue out, and then I will return in just a little bit.